He's literally pooping on me.
Welcome to our Crested Gecko care video.
Beware when you hold your Crested Gecko. He's been doing this lately. He did not used to do this. Oh my god.
Oh, he just drug it all down your arm.
Dragging.
That was lovely. All right, we're going to take Peter and give Mom a chance to clean up.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is Peter, Lex's Crested Gecko.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be ours, and then we gave him to Lex and Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And I now want my own Crested Gecko, so that was like the worst decision of my entire life. But we see each other so often,
we do.
Like, he's never gone. So, Crested Geckos are a really, really great beginner pet for a lot of people, mostly because they will survive and sometimes even thrive in the conditions that you have already in your house. So the relative humidity that Crested Geckos like, they'll tolerate a relative humidity of 50%, but they prefer it to be more closer to 70. So that's a pretty wide range of relative humidity. And it's not as particular as like some snakes might be for their humidity. As far as temperatures go, they prefer it on the warmer side, like 78 degrees during the day. So you can either keep like a heat pad or just have a heat lamp in there. Make sure you have a thermometer to monitor the temperature and relative humidity in there. But yeah, so they'll tolerate temperature drops into the 60s. Obviously ideally you don't want it to get that low, but if it does, it's not going to be the end of the world. So they're really easy to take care of, really easy to clean up. Really easy to clean up after. Really, really handleable, as you can see here. This is just Peter hanging out.
They might poop on you, but they're really easy to handle. Sometimes they like to jump, so just kind of be aware of that. The more that you get them out and the longer they're out, the less likely they are to be jumping around. They are also known as eyelash geckos. A lot of people know them as that because they've got these cute little eyelashes. You probably aren't able to see them right now. As she said, his name is Peter. He's so cute. These little geckos actually originate from New Caledonia, so I just actually think that that's pretty cool. They don't really require like a water bowl or anything. You can put them in there. I've tried it with him. He doesn't really mess with his water bowl at all. They drink off the leaves and like the glass in their enclosure and stuff like that. So it's really important to make sure that it's humid enough in there and that gets sprayed down nightly. I spray him down in the morning when I wake up or before I go to work, and also again before I go to bed. As far as their diet, it's pretty easy. You can feed these guys like worms and crickets. He's not a big fan of crickets, which is just kind of different for him because every other Crested Gecko I've met or seen in videos, they just love crickets, but he just does not. He really likes mealworms, so I feed him those about once a week or more often if I can. They also like fruits. So this is Pangea here. I get these at Expos because it's so much cheaper. I think I paid like $6 for both of these. 6 or 8, something like that. Yeah. $6 and $8. So it's really not bad. And I've had those for months. I mean, they are fairly cheap. All you do is you mix it in a little bit of water. You can buy these little plastic containers that you set in their enclosure. Some people will use like bottle caps. And they'll just recycle those and use those. So that's another option as well. I just like using the plastic containers because they're easy to clean out and they're fairly cheap. So,
another, something that's really important to note with these Pangea packets is that not all of these are complete nutrition. So some of these, they just make for like a treat for your gecko. Mm-hmm. So, the ones that are complete nutrition will actually say,
I have one too.
Nutritious complete diet on them. And then some of them are just like...
So this is Repashy. Yeah. Repashy and Pangea are actually the best branded, I don't know if you guys can see that, best branded meal choice for them. This has like ground up grubs and fruit as well. So they definitely need an alternate. So I will give him the Repashy with the grubs, and then like I'll leave it in there for about 2 days. So I'll make it, let him sit there, and then the next day, and then the day after that. So about 2 days, about every 2 days is when I change out their food. So I'll do the rapashi, and then I'll do, his favorite is watermelon, so I do watermelon quite a bit.
And you can also give these guys like real fruit. You don't have to give them like the Pangea. The Pangea is just really convenient, and it helps make sure they're getting all of those vitamins and minerals that they need. Captive geckos tend to become calcium deficient really quickly. So supplementing when you're feeding with mealworms or crickets, supplementing them with calcium powder and making sure that the crickets are coated in calcium powder is really, really important, because calcium deficiency is never pretty, and it's very hard to bring an animal back when they become calcium deficient.
Right.
So yeah, that's just an important note in their care. But other than that, they're super easy to take care of, super fun to handle. As you can see, we're having lots of fun with Peter here.
And he's just way cute.
Yeah, and he's super docile, very much a really great beginner pet. If you want to get into herpetology or animals or reptiles and you don't know exactly which one to start with, in my opinion, the Crested Gecko is probably the best one for you to start with.
For sure. And they don't bite. I mean, he bit me once. They're not really known for that. I was hand feeding him his watermelon, and he just loved it so much he decided to take a little nibble. It was the most gentle thing ever. I didn't even feel it. Oh, great. I didn't even feel it. Like, it just didn't feel like anything. And he realized I was not a watermelon and was kind of disappointed. But another thing too about these geckos is sometimes you'll see them without a tail. Whenever they get scared, they drop their tail, and it actually does not grow back. So that's one thing. I'm hoping he never drops his tail, but I've heard a lot of stories and read a lot about people just like coming in the morning and realizing that they have dropped their tail overnight. So I don't really know what causes that. I don't know if they just like get freaked out about something overnight, or if they hear a noise or something, drop it. But they're very, very cute, super sweet, like she said. Right now he's actually fired down. Fired down just means that his colors are more warm, darker colors. That kind of depends on the temperature for one, or their mood. So sometimes people will say different things. Like if they're like super calm, people will say they're fired down. Usually when they're fired up, they're, what's the word I'm looking for?
Moving.
They're like moving, they're alert. Sometimes it can mean that they're upset. They don't really get angry. If they do, they make like it's called a bark. They make like a barking noise. It doesn't sound like a bark. It's just kind of,
yeah,
there's
no
like
other
he's whining.
There's no other way to describe it, really. Like, you kind of have to to hear them bark in order to know that, like, it doesn't sound like a dog barking, but it sounds like a bark. It's kind of difficult to
explain.
Yeah,
sure.
explain.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look, he's getting
he looked like
fired up. Look.
Yeah. So I'll try to get him closer. He might try to jump on the camera. Focus.
That would be a great blooper.
Sorry, I'm not trying to like block your face. So he's pretty cute. I mean, he sure jumped on the camera. But he's pretty cute. I mean, you can see his little eyelashes, and his eyes, his colors. He is a Harlequin morph. There are lots of different types of morphs out there, and he just happens to, I mean, you can already tell his colors are changing right now, but oh, look how cute he is. Again, he's so sweet, and they're definitely super easy. I mean, they also don't necessarily need like a heat source, as long as it's obviously warm enough. In the winter, definitely. But during the summer, I didn't have any heat or anything on him. Just recently, I put a heat pad on his enclosure. Doesn't seem to really make a difference with him, but I do know that they thrive the best at around 80 degrees. They grow the fastest and really thrive at about 80, so if you can keep it around there, that would be great. But they're going to thrive in just about any condition, so.
Yeah, they are really great. Yeah.
I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions that we didn't cover, definitely leave a comment down in the comment section below, and we will hopefully try to answer your questions best we can.
Yeah, and feel free to shoot us a message like on Instagram, or if you follow our Facebook or anything like that, and you ever have questions, like if we don't know the answer, we can try and find it out for you. So definitely use us as like an educational resource. That's kind of what our goal is, to just kind of help educate people on keeping their reptiles and help their reptiles be kept as best as they can.
So. We're definitely not experts, but I mean, we have a lot of different types of species of snakes and geckos, and she's got lots of tarantulas, so the questions that, you know, the information that we're answering your questions with is from based off our experience and the research that we've done. So definitely not experts. We make mistakes as well, but we're very happy to share those with you and definitely help you get to your goal of owning your favorite reptile.
Yeah, and definitely like learning from our mistakes. Like if we make a mistake, it's important as a keeper that you can own up to your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So if we make a mistake, like we're not really trying to hide anything.
Nope.
So definitely we just want to educate as best as possible.
Sure thing.
Alrighty, well thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Definitely stay tuned for our next videos. We'll probably be doing some more snake related videos next time, since this one we started out with a gecko. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what else you guys want to see.
See you next time.